the year of our monthly webinars, the Chinese outbound travel year in review and what to expect in 2018. So we're very delighted today to have with us Miss Mona Liu from Ma Fanwo, where we are today for this live streaming. Mona will talk and present on Ma Fanwo's Global Independent Travel Report 2017, which is an annual report that Ma Fanwo puts out every year. The report, Ma Fanwo is a travel review site, and with over 100 million users, therefore has great insights on what are some of the latest travel trends in China. Around 60% of its users are defined Chinese millennials, which also make up around 60% of all Chinese travelers. So we look forward to Mona Liu's presentation. In the meantime, just a couple of housekeeping tasks for everyone. Mona will do her presentation first, and then I will present on the digital landscape some of the highlights of 2017 and what we can expect for the year to come. And the presentations will last for about 30 minutes, and Q&A will be reserved for the end. We'll have around 15 minutes for that. Also, my colleague Roy Graf, Managing Director EMEA, is with us and will join us for the Q&A, and my colleague Sienna Parlis-Cook, Communications Manager of Dragon Trail. So without and we will make the presentations available to everyone tomorrow. So without any further ado, I would like to now give the word to Miss Mona to introduce.
Thank you, Michaela. Hi, hello everybody. It is a great pleasure to have this conversation. I'm Mona from Ma Fanwo, which is the biggest travel social network. And every year we will analyze the data on our website and also the data from China Tourism Academy, and we will co-launch an annual report to say the FIT travel changes in China. So today I'm gonna introduce the contents of 2017's annual report, which is called Rediscover the World. This is today, this year's the same, Rediscover the World. In the first part, we will focus on the change in the FIT market. In 2017, the number of Chinese domestic travel will reach 5 billion, and the year-on-year growth is about 30%. And among these travelers, FIT travelers occupies almost 97%. In the first half year of 2017, number of outbound travelers is reaching 62 million, and the year-on-year growth is about 5%. So the estimated number of outbound travelers whole year is about 100 million. And among all these kind of travelers, FIT travelers occupies over 53%. So we can say that the era of FIT, or we say the era of this new travel, is actually coming to China. The first big change which worth to mention here is that a lot of popular movie and TV series IP gets great power in influencing travelers' destinations, choice of destinations. When this Chinese audience, they watching this kind of TV shows or movies, they not only pay attention to the contents and the stars, but also they pay attention to where the show has been shot. So data shows that 25% FIT travelers will take the shooting place as their next travel destination. So reality shows, TV series, and animations have more influence than any other kind of shows. And in 2017, Istanbul, Prague, Northern Ireland, these kind of places are all the places which is the shooting place. People then like it. One of the typical cases is the Elephant Island in Thailand. The Elephant Island in Thailand actually are not so well known in China. People are very familiar with Bali, with Phuket, and some other Thailand island, but this Elephant Island, so seldom people know that. But a reality show called Chinese Restaurant which invites 5 superstars go to the island and open a Chinese restaurant just by themselves independently, gets very popular among young people. So just after the first episode being showed, the popularity of Elephant Island increased 547%. So this is a new change in 2017. And the other one mentioned to here was to mention is the policy of the Belt and Road has played an effective role in promoting travel to neighboring countries. The Belt and Road is the abbreviation for Silk Road Economic Belt and the 21st century Maritime Silk Road. So along the road, there are 64 countries. 43 of them we have already have the direct flight from Beijing now. And during October 2017 to March 2018, over 100 new lanes will be opened to strengthen the connection between China and the other Silk Road countries. So this is one other thing which influenced by the policy in China. And in second part, we will look at which destinations are the most popular ones in 2017. Data shows that in 2017, the popularity of domestic destinations doesn't change too much. Super versatile cities like Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou are still many people's first choice. Southwest and China South keep to be the popular ones, while Tibet, due to the new movie, which called Gangnam Boqi on screen, becomes the top 10. As to the popular outbound travel countries, Japan and Thailand, because of its short distance, still ranks first and second. And due to some political reasons, most Chinese travelers, they abandoned to travel to Korea this year. So Korea dropped to the 7th, while other short distance countries like Singapore and Vietnam become 3rd and 4th. For long distance destinations, the US and Australia are still the most popular ones. And Maldives, for the first time, appear in the top 10. People tend to stay in long distance countries for longer durations. For example, the average duration of traveling to America is 13 days and to Australia is 11 days. European market grows very slowly due to the continuous terror attack, and the market is relatively stable compared with last year. Data shows that the popular destinations are Italy, Britain, France, Spain, and Switzerland. And since France, Switzerland, and Italy, these 3 countries, they are very close. So many travelers, they will spend 15 days also to travel in these 3 countries at one time. The 15 most popular outbound travel cities are all Asia cities. Hong Kong, Bangkok, Tokyo still are the top ones. And among them, Kyoto, Sabah, and Kuala Lumpur are the first time to getting into this top 15. And in part 3, we have generated the contents of the consumption from the report, including travelers' consume behavior of hotel booking, shopping, and food. First, let's look at the outbound hotel booking time. 16.5% domestic FIT travelers, they choose to book hotel just 1 week before they go, while outbound travelers, people who travel to foreign countries, they are more cautious. 40% of outbound travelers, they will book hotels at least 1 month ahead. And data shows that by June 2017, China's mobile internet user is reaching 724 million. So this proportion is rising from 95% by 2016 to 96% this year. And almost 80% travelers will use mobile device to book hotels. So this number is also a big increase. This number in 2016 is about just 53%. So we're just walking into not only an FIT but also a mobile age. So most of the transactions and most of the contents are read by mobile. How to choose a nice hotel to stay is still a very difficult task for these FIT travelers. People, they tend to check more hotels compared with 2016. Most of the domestic travel people, they will look at 5 hotels. Well, they probably look at 8 hotels this year to make the final decision. While outbound travelers, they will look at almost 19 hotels to make their final decisions. So shopping is still a very important part of the outbound travel. And in Britain, France, Sweden, Spain, people tend to go to shopping more to buy fashion goods, cosmetics, bags, suitcases, extra. And in Japan, people tend to buy some e-products and audio products. And in Australia and Korea, people love to go to tax-free shops to buy shoes and cosmetics. And in America, people tend to go to discount shop to buy clothes. Though it's like a bit differently where they are shopping and what kind of things they buy. The upgrade of the travel consumption can be seen through the change of consumption consistence. Data shows that compared with 2016, in 2017, the shopping consumption reduces both inbound and outbound. FIT travelers convert this part of shopping consumption to experience consumption, such as they pay more money on their food and entertainment and their local experience, but less shopping this year. Take people's consumption in food as an example. Outbound catering consumption is rising 14%, while outbound consumption is rising 201%. So this is a big trend and a big change. So people pay more attention to their experience, but not only to shopping. This is the third part. And the last part, I would like to introduce a little bit what role Ma-Feng plays in influencing FIT travelers' decisions. Most Chinese travelers, unlike European or American experienced travelers, they don't travel so many times a year. They travel probably once or twice a year, and each travel for them is very precious. So it's not a simple reservation, but they will plan a lot and take a lot of things into consideration before they actually go. So in this planning stage, they come to our website looking for all kinds of practical information. And data shows that in 2017, the top 30 aspects travelers pay attention to are the following on the PowerPoint, which is travel schedule, transportation, scenic spots, hotel shopping, weather, etc. These top 30 things they care most. And the biggest travel problem they encountered is that the schedule they made is not so appropriate, so that they probably miss something when they actually go travel. They expect experienced travelers can give them some professional suggestions to help them make their travel plans a better one, a complete one. So one of the Ma-Feng's core products is called Travel Guide. And this travel guide can solve this problem very well. It can provide travelers a complete wheel of destination, includes detailed information of tourist attraction, equipment, hotels, food, shopping, and entertainment. This travel guide actually can gather 3 sources of information. On one hand, it will have the information from the officials, like official tourism bureau, and some hotels agencies, and also it will gather many user-generated contents as some mouth-to-mouth spread. And also it will invite some KOL or some specialists to offer some content. Then we connect these three parts of content together to make it a very useful, practical, and also up-to-date one. Make it to help the travelers to make their schedule. And the logic of our website is first to have a good quality of content and use these contents to influence people's travel decisions. And when they read what they are really interested in, transaction can also happen here. They can find what they really like here and some customized, tailor-made products here. So we sincerely hope that we can lead the new travel style, like change people's travel habits from, say, some scenic spots to experience the local life, and help many more Chinese FIT travelers to make their journey smarter. So that's basically what I want to share today. And next, probably Michaela will share more of the digital trend in China to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mona, for that very insightful presentation. I'm sure lots of you will have questions about this. Write them in the chat box or keep the questions in mind for later. Now I will talk briefly about what have been some of can I make it bigger? Sorry, I'm just trying to expand. Oh, great, thank you. Okay, so I will go through some of the changes, some of the significant 2017 trends that we expect to go forward in 2018 as well. Yeah. As I mentioned at the beginning, I'm the marketing director of Dragon Trail Interactive. I'm based in Beijing, and I've been with Dragon Trail for about 3 years. I started working in travel at the very beginning of the ADS, the group visa, in the mid 2000s. So definitely Chinese tourism and the digital landscape have changed quite significantly during that time. Dragon Trail is a travel technology and digital marketing agency. We're 100% focused on China, travel, and digital, and we help companies reach affluent consumers online, as well as connect with travel agents through a range of digital solutions. We work with a number of clients, such as Destination Canada, small luxury hotels, Atlantis de Palm Dubai. I'm sorry, not all logos are coming through. We had some technical issues, so we've had to switch to a Mac. So starting with, I've identified 8 trends that I would like to talk to you about today. The first one, not in terms of importance, but definitely a really important trend is our KOLs. KOLs have been a very effective marketing channel for now a number of years that brands have been employing across all vertical industries. We've seen KOLs segmenting into different types of influencers. We have celebrities, which are great at attracting at generating reach and attracting awareness. We also have Wanghong, which are online celebrities, which thanks to short video platforms as well as live streaming platforms have become extremely popular online. One of them is Papi Jiang, which has become extremely popular, now commands millions of RMB for endorsements. The third category are specialized bloggers. So we have, for instance, the rise of travel bloggers, people who specialize in writing writing about hotels or about the luxury lifestyle and so forth. The trend that we've seen with KOLs, they know that they're valuable, and therefore they have been increasing their fees. Platform like Sina Weibo and also Sina-owned Meipai, which is a short video platform, are also now starting to command a fee for hosting KOL campaigns. We see brands which have run very successful campaigns, such as the Hawaii Tourism Board, as well as other brands which, for one reason or another, have not been as successful. We've also seen KOLs delving into sales as well, with fashion blogger Becky Lee selling 100 Mini Coopers in the space of 4 minutes. So going back to the Hawaii Tourism Board, they engaged Taiwanese celebrity Andy Anishuen to promote Hawaii as a wedding destination, and they've been highly successful. Andy 80 and his fiancée invited 200 celebrities to join the wedding. And this generated 333 million page views on Sina Weibo, as well as a lot of PR coverage across all media in China. So the targeted campaign was highly successful, whereas for Helsinki Airport, they had the brilliant idea of inviting actor Ryan Zhu to live at the airport for 30 days and to showcase all the different facilities of the airport at a time where Helsinki Airport is really trying to position itself as a stopover airport for Chinese tourists going over to China. And they've introduced a lot of Chinese-friendly solutions, such as Alipay. They have Chinese-speaking staff, as well as Chinese signage. Unfortunately, the campaign failed to gain much awareness online, particularly on Weibo, WeChat, Youku. We only see a few hundred page views for the campaign. The campaign has done better on live streaming platform Ichigo, where page views have gone up to 60,000 page views. Among the reason, perhaps, is the lack of familiarity in China with the concept of the movie, The Departure. We saw Tom Hanks living in an airport for 30 days, as well as the level of fame of the KOL. Of course, it's quite expensive paying someone for 30 days to live in Helsinki, but then you're trading that up with the level of celebrity impacting potentially the campaign. Payments are, again, here to stay. They're extremely important, especially as Chinese travelers are the biggest spenders. When it comes to outbound travel, we see, in terms of offline solution, UnionPay being almost ubiquitous in North America, and also being well spread in Europe and across Asia among merchants as well as ATMs. When it comes to mobile payments, we see that they have really exploded in China. In 2016, 9 trillion transactions in USD were conducted through mobile payment, whereas the figure was only 112 billion for the US. And again, the volume of such payments is expected to reach 47 trillion in just 2020-21. So foreign merchants are also trying to adopt mobile payment solutions. The most popular ones are WeChat Pay and Alipay. In terms of market share at home, Alipay still dominates with 54% of market share as of Q1 2017. So the figures might have slightly changed during the course of the year. WeChat has about 14% market share, but has really been catching up with Alipay. WeChat is available in 15 countries, and both platforms have struck a number of partnerships in the US with Stripe, as well as in Europe, to be able to provide their solution to merchants there. So we see Galeries Lafayette, the airport in Hokkaido, new Kitose adopting WeChat Pay, as well as taxis in Hong Kong. Alipay is perhaps easier to find abroad and has become available at in 10 international airports, as well as on taxis in New York, Las Vegas, as well as a number of shopping malls as well. So having the right and a Chinese localized solution for Chinese travelers is extremely important to capture their share of the wallet. In terms of WeChat, WeChat is not going anywhere. It's still extremely popular, and if we've seen the number of daily active users increase by 17% as of September to 900 million, and we know that the number of monthly active users is 963. So there's also not much, there is a bit actually of room where WeChat can grow, and that's with the senior users. So we've seen last year the platform gaining 50 million senior users, and there are 240 million senior users in China. So again, the platform has some space to grow in this sense. And senior users are extremely important in the travel context as well as they're retiring, they have time and also have savings to go overseas. We also seen WeChat's parent company, Tencent, which in November has surpassed Facebook in terms of market cap, breaking the $500 billion US dollar valuation. At the moment, Facebook has then grown again in terms of market cap, and they're neck to neck. But Tencent is now the 5th largest corporation worldwide, generating most of its revenue through gaming. Whereas Facebook focuses primarily on advertising. When we look at WeChat, it has grown in terms of solutions that it offers to brands and in terms of services that it offers to its users. So mini programs are now 1 year old. We've seen more mini programs being distributed. We've seen 17% of mini programs which are used daily. So bike sharing app Mobike has a WeChat mini program which enables users to quickly load it and use the find function to find a bike, and then the QR code to open the bike, and again the WeChat wallet to pay for the ride. So some of the uses of mini programs are for brands to better provide e-commerce opportunities, and we've seen this with luxury brands. We also see a lot of gaming opportunities distributed through mini programs, as well as the use of bridging the offline to online. So mini programs have also been adopted in the travel industry. We see Ctrip, which has several mini programs, as well as other companies such as Huazhu Hotels, as well as destinations, as they can enhance the experience of in destination for travelers. So the city of Zurich, Banff, and Lake Louise, Sydney, Dubai, London are among some of the cities which have developed a mini program for travelers to look at the map and understand which attractions they can visit, which restaurants they can go to, or where they can go shopping. Another introduction by WeChat is the search and top story functionalities, which allow articles to have better visibility, as well as the brand zone, which you can see on the right-hand side, developed by Gucci, which allows non-followers to find out what Gucci's WeChat account is, or what Gucci's website, or what Gucci's official account is. So this, hopefully, in the long run, will help companies gain more visibility on WeChat, which has been the major challenge for brands on WeChat. When we look at technology, it's also been greatly employed to provide better in-destination solutions. I've just mentioned mini programs, but also Ctrip is striking up a number of partnerships with OpenTable, for instance, in the US, to provide a booking service book for restaurants. And we know that food is one of the most important activities for Chinese travelers when traveling overseas. Also, China Mobile has partnered with a UK-based group to provide mobile services in Europe, as connectivity is really important. Didi Chuxing is entering into Taiwan, and also has struck partnerships in Japan to be able to provide transportation to Chinese travelers. And again, Ctrip has partnered with Baidu to provide in-pocket translator as well, which can be used as a Wi-Fi, as a point of access for Wi-Fi, for connectivity. In terms of the other trend that we see in 2017, when a new law on cybersecurity law was passed, is the increased censorship. Last week, you might have heard of Marriott and Delta's website being shut down for 1 week during the government, during a time when Chinese travelers are busy planning and looking for their holiday during the Chinese New Year period, because Marriott sent out a consumer survey listing Tibet, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Macau as separate countries. Also, WeChat had 25 accounts shut down because they've been accused of spreading celebrity gossip. Live streaming platforms have also been cracked down to and shut down temporarily. Have had to apply for licenses and guarantee a more strict control of the content. So Tencent and Toutiao are also employing more editors to vet the content that is being published on platforms. In terms of data as well, we've seen companies operating in China, which are required now to store data related to Chinese users in China, and to partner with local companies to store the data on cloud solutions. And we've already seen Apple, Amazon, and Airbnb implementing the enforcement by the Chinese government. In terms of videos, they have steadily increased their popularity, especially short video platforms. But perhaps the greatest change was in live streaming, where we've seen the craze of live streaming in 2016 becoming a little bit more subdued. Also, from 200 platforms, we've seen the consolidation to 10 main platforms, which attract most of the users. The content is people are becoming less interested in watching everyday regular people performing banal activities like eating a dinner or singing and performing in front of an audience. And we see the content becoming more professional. So, for instance, some live streaming channels focus on business topics. We've also seen fashion brands showcasing, live streaming live events, their catwalks, or even selling products online through the help of KOLs. In the past couple of months, we've also seen the rise of live trivia, which are basically trivia where a number of people can join in, and if they guess all the answers correctly within 10 minutes, they can win jackpots ranging from 100,000 to 100 million RMB. They're extremely popular, and they're a way for live streaming platforms to maintain that interest and to retain users as they're trying to figure out the new model going into 2018. And we've seen brands such as Meituan, which has partnered with Huajiao Video to host live trivia, which also have questions about the brand, and this also helps with their brand awareness. So, does this mean that live streaming platforms in the future will be more focused on content, on knowledge? Well, this is one of the questions and something that to look out for the new year. When it comes to personalization, we see that this is not just something that a customer expects, but it has become an expectation. This is true worldwide, but especially for China and the super wealthy Chinese travelers. 58% have used a personalized service when booking their holidays. And this trend will continue to exist as more FITs need to plan their holidays and they want to have a more personalized experience. So in terms of how the industry has moved in this sense, we've seen common OTAs such as Junamao, Six Renyo, who have started to provide more personalized bookings, so specialized freelance guides for Junamao put together an itinerary for users to and which they can then help them book. Also, we've seen the rise of personalization through WeChat, which is changing from just a mass brand awareness platform to a more personalized platform, which allows for one-on-one interaction. So airlines such as Air France have a dedicated customer service staff, which from 9 to 5 or 9 to 7 replies to questions that they receive through the WeChat official account. We've also seen the rise of targeted content through WeChat. So brands can categorize and segment their followers based on different attributes and send different content based on the interests of the different audiences. And on the right hand side, you can see a couple of screenshots of Amex WeChat account, which focuses on travel and lifestyle. And this is there is a login section which is accessible through the WeChat menu and is only for members of Amex cardholders, and different deals and different promotions will be offered to different groups, to different categories of members. The last trend that we've identified for 2017 are some of the industry highlights. So Ctrip has really been consolidating its supremacy in China and also its position internationally. It's now the second largest OTA by market cap at $25 billion. Ahead of behind Booking, but ahead of Expedia. After acquiring Skyscanner and Indian OTA Make My Trip in 2016, last year it has acquired Trip.com, a travel recommendation service which is integrating now with Skyscanner. Also in 2017, we've seen the merge of Tongcheng and Elong, two second-tier OTAs which are owned by Ctrip as well as Tencent. Also, we've seen the weakening of Chinese outbound investments with the government crackdown on Dalian, Wanda, conglomerate HNA, and Anbang in terms of their overseas acquisition as well as their higher level of debts. So these are some of the key highlights for the year. Now, just a couple of extra information, and then we'll go through to the questions. So our next webinar will be on the 28th of February, and we'll look at WeChat rankings for the travel industry for 2017. So we're currently conducting an analysis of 2017 results in partnership with another organization, and then we'll be looking at the results during our next session of the webinar. We'll retrieve the two sessions, one for Asia and Europe, as well as another one for the Americas. And lastly, we've been putting together a series of webinars together with COTRI, the China Bound Tourism Research Institute, called the China Bound Travel Pulse. So we've already published 4 episodes on FITs, silver travelers, shopping, and exchange rates. They're 4 or 5 minutes long, and they include street interviews as well as some analytical insights. So I will leave it at that. And now we have a couple of minutes for a few questions. I'm aware that it's already 5:45 here in China, but we started a couple of minutes late, waiting for people to join in. So if you don't mind staying back a couple of minutes, we'll be happy to take questions. And I'll ask my colleague Sienna and Roy also to join us in this process as well. Okay.
Hi, this is Sienna here. Would you like me to read out some of the questions?
Actually, sorry, we're now able to to see the questions.
Oh,
We were
okay.
having issues with the system earlier. So we'll take the question from Wenjie, asking any insights that why shopping consumption decreased. Do you think Chinese travelers will become more and more like other nationals that focus more on experience instead of shopping?
Is he going to answer that question?
Yeah. Okay. So thinking about that question, we've already seen in 2017 that Chinese. We don't have yet the figures for the year which has ended, but there have been plenty of reports showing that shopping is still there, but the interest in shopping is decreasing, and this for a number of reasons. So the taxation in China has decreased, and global brands are especially trying to bring the prices of goods purchased overseas and in China at the same level. So and travelers who are becoming more experienced are more interested in in really exploring places rather than spending a lot of time in dedicating that to shopping, which can be quite time consuming. Also.
Yeah, I think actually people are still spending money. Actually, they still like to shopping when they go abroad traveling. But what we see here, the decrease means that some of this spending is just changing from shopping to experience. Like they probably spend more on their food, on their hotels, and also on some shows, some experience, local experience. I think this is because Chinese FIT travelers, they are tending to be more true travelers. 2 years or 3 years earlier, probably it's their first time, second time traveling abroad. So probably they see everything in good price, so they buy a lot of things. But as they turn into be mature travelers, they actually pay more attention to experience, because they know that every time they have the opportunity to buy these things, and probably inside the country they can buy this kind of things in the same price from some e-shops or some like people, they can send goods from outbound to the China. But actually the travel habits is changing, especially the young people. They are paying attention to the experience, not just shopping anymore. Probably during a 7 day or 8 days traveling, they won't spend 1 or 2 days shopping, but they will leave more time to experience the city or the place.
Okay, thank you so much. We hope that of course it's always hard to answer all of the questions in a comprehensive way in the limited time. Onto the new question: how important is a good commentary for the traveler? Are FITs also looking for in-depth explanation, maybe even to the point of being academic on the countries they are, I guess, about to visit? So maybe
in-depth explanation. Okay. I'm not sure whether I have completely understand your question, but I think you are asking that what do Chinese travelers really needed to be well prepared before they set off for a journey. Actually, I think I think for Chinese travelers, first they have to know the place, or first they have to know this kind of thing. Then they can try to go there or try to experience. Take the transportation in Japan as an example. The transportation in Japan, especially the subways, actually is very complicated. So we have to brief these kind of travelers how many lines they have and how to take it most to save the most money and with what kind of card you can go to which kind of area. So it is very detailed, and this kind of travel guide are also suitable for the other kind of things like hotels, like museums, or like any other scenic spots. So they have to know it in very detailed, specifically, then they can prepare for their journey to go there.
Yeah.
Can I add a little bit more about these questions? This is Roy calling in from London. I think the question refers to the commentary on during a tour guide and what Chinese would like to know about the destination or about the attraction that they're visiting. The idea being is that in many destinations, the number of Chinese-speaking tour guides is quite low, and the number of fully qualified guides is even lower. So in many cases, you have to, if you're operating a tour, you need to somehow compromise between getting a very knowledgeable tour guide or somebody that speaks really good Chinese. And sometimes it's not easy to get both. Or if you're getting a tour guide plus an interpreter, then that would make the tour more expensive. And that is often, especially in destinations that are just now seeing a boom in Chinese tourism, that can be a bottleneck to providing a really good experience for Chinese visitors. And when we're talking about FIT, it's even harder because it's really much more difficult to then apply that and manage to find Chinese-speaking tour guides for 2 people or 4 people rather than for a big group. Now, there are various ways and various solutions for that. And what is important to know to really note that in contrast to big tour groups that want to see lots of different attractions and take pictures, but don't have much time to spend in one place, Chinese FIT are really looking for in-depth experience and to learn more about the local culture and really be immersed in it, which means that also the information you provide needs to be much more detailed. And if you want to know what would be interesting to Chinese tourists, probably one of the good things you can do is to go to China and go on tours in China and see what kind of information is given to tourists in China. A lot of the times it's about compelling stories, history, things that are really kind of fascinating, adventure, romance, etc. It can be links related to what an attraction has in common or related to something that the Chinese already know about or something from China's own culture. If you can link that together, that would make it a lot more interesting. And when it's not possible to find the resources in terms of Chinese-speaking guides, then another solution is to create audio guides recorded in advance, and then they can play it during the tour. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Roy. So looking at another question, what are new emerging outbound destinations? As we said, we can share the PowerPoint later with you, but as Mona said, due to we've seen a bit of changes this year due to terrorist attacks in Europe. Europe has not grown as much, and for instance, the ban on South Korea, which has lasted for most of the year, we've seen a growing number of Chinese tourists going to other destinations in Southeast Asia. We're also seeing a growth of interest of Chinese travelers to travel to faraway destinations such as Latin America. So we're seeing countries like Colombia, Peru, Argentina, which are attracting, maybe starting from a lower base, but attracting great numbers of Chinese travelers and registering 60–70% increase, if not more per year, and really putting more effort into promoting their services to Chinese tourists. I think
Northern Europe, like Sweden, like Denmark, Finland, Those are the popular countries, new emerging destinations, and also Middle East countries.
Yeah.
Like
Jordan.
Dubai is very hot now, and also Turkey, very popular, and North Africa, I think Morocco, yeah, Morocco, one of the most popular, young people they like to experience different kind of culture in the Middle East countries. And also, I think America and Australia still keeps to be the most popular ones because those are not like one-time destination. People, they have to go there for a few times to experience different part of the country. So they still keep in the top list, I think.
Yeah, and just adding to emerging destination like Morocco, we see that connecting flights and especially free visas are a big driver of Chinese travelers to such destinations. Jordan in the Middle East is also a popular destination among Chinese travelers, and also as they mature, they first travel to Macau, Taiwan, and Hong Kong, then to Southeast Asia, and then Europe and US, and then they're looking for new experiences and looking to go to new destinations. So 2018 is the year of EU-China tourism. How much do you think this will have an effect on Chinese visitors coming to Europe? Well, I guess that depends on the activities that Europe will put together to really attract Chinese tourists. I know that the European Union was running a project to train and inform travel companies in Europe all throughout 2017, and to organize meetings with tour operators in China as well. That's of course a long-term plan to create better connection between the industry in China and in Europe. But you know, the correlation is not always that obvious between the year of tourism and the increase in the growth of arrivals. So there are a number of countries that have the year of tourism, like Australia also had its Australia-China year of tourism this year. Denmark also had it this year as well. But there are events which can greatly affect the interest of Chinese tourists. So, for instance, Canada its 150th anniversary, and a lot of its content this year focused on promoting this, and this has definitely attracted some Chinese tourists and sparked interest in Chinese tourists. So it's not just about running the year, but also having the message reach the public. On top of that 15 questions, which FIT concern about surrounding, like food, car rental, what kind of hotel amenities or facilities are Chinese looking for? What kind of services in a hotel?
I think like comfort still is like the first consideration. But if you can have like Chinese service, Chinese service, like some
Chinese
service
friendly
speak Chinese, that would be better. And also probably I think your hotel has to maybe have different kind of rooms that can suitable for different kind of groups, like for families, which probably is the top one kind of group who want to travel together. So you have a room type of like families, and also you have the room type for maybe several friends, and probably the room type for different kind of groups, that would be better. But I think I think price and comfort, if you can combine this, that would be good. Yeah.
And I think Chinese language services are always some of the top concerns for Chinese travelers. So having guides or instructions translated in Chinese, and having someone who is able to speak Chinese and communicate with the guest is, of course, extremely important. And of course, to increase the comfort, you can always think about providing sleepers and a kettle in the room. Those are important. They're not the main part of the experiences, as Mona said. I think as Chinese travelers are becoming more well-traveled and more mature, we see them moving beyond just requesting these services, but caring more for the environment, for the view, and especially with younger travelers, they're more interested in boutique hotels, in the location of the hotels. So also these considerations are important. I see that now it's 6 p.m. So we might end the session here. And for those of you we didn't answer your question, you're free to email us at communications@dragontrail.com. Okay. We'll leave the webinar running, and we'll take your answers by text. In the meantime, while we reply by text to your questions, we'll also have a short survey that we want to run, and which we can hope that you can fill out for us. That really helps us to improve our webinar and also choose the topics for the next editions. So we'll answer your questions, and in the meantime, we just want to say thank you again for participating in today's webinar, and we'll follow up and send through the presentation to you by email tomorrow. And we'll also leave our contact details. Mona, if you would like to share your email address, we'll pop that in the email tomorrow, so that you can contact both Dragon Trail as well as Mona personally. Thank you again. And if you can fill out the survey, and those of you who have time, please stay online. We'll just